If a customer wants a pickle, you give them a pickle, right?
Calvin Cocoa Puff.
If a customer wants a pickle, you give them a pickle, right?
If you want a pickle, you gotta give him a pickle, right?
You guys still there?
Baloney Nation. Boom.
What's up, big guy?
Jim Deezy. Coming to us live from your car.
Via satellite. Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on today. I was unable to get to the studio, so we're bringing this broadcast live from the parking lot.
Where else would you rather be than in that parking lot right now?
In studio.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
Yeah, but, repping it, talking baloney, doing what we do. Got the Butchman Rar hat on. I know the nation's been asking about it.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. You can order it right on our website.
You can get that hat right now and delivered to your house at a very reasonable price.
Yeah, and you know what? Is there still a coupon going live?
There isn't, but we can make one right now. Do we want to do a sale?
Let's do a sale. Let's see if we can sell some hats. Let's support the Butchman. And most of all, let's support Talkin Baloney. Right there.
There you go.
Or a mask if you want. We'll make it for you. We'll ship it right to your house before the next outbreak.
So let's call it the Butchman sale.
The Butchman sale.
Use the code Butchman, save 20% on your order at talkinbaloney.com.
20%, folks. Let's put that in numbers for you. 20%.
Man, you nailed it.
We're not making any money.
That is true.
So how's things going, big guy?
Well, we got a big show today. This is a topic we've talked about. We've been kind of teasing that we were going to do this episode. We're going to talk movie soundtracks.
Oh, yeah. Near and dear to my heart. I have them all, folks. I got them all.
Why don't you start us off and tell us some of your favorite movie soundtracks?
So I'm going to name two movie soundtracks, and they're both going to have the same guy singing featured songs that were on the top Billboard charts in both soundtracks.
All right.
Top Gun and Footloose. If you don't have those two soundtracks in your music collection, folks, you're not an American. Footloose, Top Gun.
Yeah.
If you weren't bumping Danger Zone from Kenny Loggins back in the day while you were driving through town, you ain't real.
Hey.
Footloose. Come on. We got Kenny Loggins on Footloose.
That's right. And we talked about it before. Kenny Loggins, how many number one hits does he have just from movie soundtracks?
It's a lot. They call him his nickname, and we won't say the name of the satellite radio company because we're bound to contracts. But on a big satellite radio company, he is listed as the king of soundtracks.
All right. And just to be clear, is there more than one satellite radio company?
Well, they have two names, but they're one satellite radio company.
Yeah. Okay. So that narrows it down a bit.
Yeah, we won't say who they are, but
no. Screw them.
You can't cancel them, folks. We've talked about it. Once they're in your life, they're there. They're like the mob.
Oh, yeah.
Once you're in, you can't get out.
And they don't leave you alone. I canceled 6 months ago, and I get at least one piece of mail from them every week.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. But you know what I do like that they do? They do a lot of 80s, and they have their own stations for 80s and 90s, and that's kind of like our big, we love the 80s and we love the 90s, and we want to forget about the 2000s.
2020?
Man, if there's a year you could skip, it'd be this one.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit you with some soundtracks. I did a little research.
All right.
kind of see like what people on the internet think are some of the best soundtracks.
Okay. All right.
So this first one is Maximum Overdrive.
Ooh.
1986.
Uh-huh. Is this where the trucks take over? The trucks take over?
This is
I love this movie.
This is a Stephen King, not only story, but he actually directed this movie.
Yeah.
And in a time period where you didn't get greatest hits albums, like AC/DC never put out a greatest hits album. This soundtrack is basically an AC/DC greatest hits.
Great soundtrack for when the world comes to an end. Pretty much today.
Who better than AC/DC to document the end of all time?
Listen, I was just watching some stuff on the news this morning, and they're saying that there's an asteroid going to pass the Earth here, coming up here in like November. That's supposed to be the closest it's been to Earth in a long time.
So that's one type of soundtrack where a movie takes already established songs, puts them together, and they're super popular, especially back in those days when you didn't. If you wanted 12 different songs, you had to buy 12 albums. It's not like today where you can just go to iTunes and download it.
Yeah, iTunes.
So another popular soundtrack in that vein is The Big Chill.
The Big Chill.
Yeah. Kind of a greatest hits of like, would you say Motown and...
A little bit of Motown, some R&B.
Yeah. A little little Creedence.
A little Creedence Clearwater Revival. Oh, snap. They see the bad moon rising.
Now, I know this is probably one of your soundtracks. You didn't mention it, but Dirty Dancing.
Oh, come on.
1987.
Listen, I had the time of my life. Oh, crap.
There we go.
Just lost the camera. There. How about now? Nope. How about that?
That's pretty good.
There we go. We're back again, folks. Hey, Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Yeah.
Listen,
She's Like the Wind. Patrick Swayze actually singing.
Swayze actually sang. And you know what? Peace to the man upstairs. Patrick Swayze, man, we don't do politics and religion on this show, but I'm sure you probably got everybody up there dancing. It'd be pretty funny to see the man running up to Patrick Swayze and he's holding him up in the air.
Wow.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. Oh, man. Dude, that soundtrack is phenomenal. Like, I don't think there isn't a song on that soundtrack that wasn't handpicked for every scene in that movie.
Yeah. And you mentioned I've had the time of my life. Mm-hmm. Was that like the theme of like junior high and high school? Like every dance?
Every dance. It was pretty much like, it's always about remembrance and, you may have hated one of your teachers or hated some of your fellow students, but at the end, everybody came together for the dance and, and rocked their Michael Jackson leather pants. And I had a pair. Sorry. They weren't leather. They were pleather.
They were close enough, though, right?
Yeah. Most people with leather pants, they come from the real animal. Ours came from Hill's Department Store.
Can't go wrong with Hills.
No, it was the shizzle back in the day.
How about the Karate Kid, 1984?
Oh my God, Gloria Love, Peter Cetera. You can't go wrong here. You got the love ballads. You got the action packed leading up to the fights and things. But we all remember for Peter Cetera, "Glory of Love." It's probably the most iconic song off that soundtrack and movie.
Well, I hate to correct you because that's usually where Aunt Paula comes in, but that was actually the sequel.
That was I was just going to say that was the sequel.
That's part 2.
Well, there, folks, that's the only part of the soundtrack I remember.
I still love the song. Is "You're the Best Around."
Oh,
Nothing's ever going to get you down.
The best. Yeah, I love that song. Yeah, that's part one.
Yeah. Back in the 80s, music videos for movie soundtracks always had like the cast of the movie in the video.
Yeah. Yep.
The kind of thing you don't see that anymore.
No,
It's a lost art.
You remember when, and this is probably not even a soundtrack, but you remember like when Paul Simon came out with the Al song that everybody used to sing. It had Chevy Chase actually in it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, a great music
video.
video.
See that stuff anymore. Now all music is 10 artists collaborate on one song. They all do a line or a few words, and that's it. Everybody's like, wait, that didn't even make sense what you just did. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to put 10 artists in one. Unless you're doing We Are the World again or something like that, there's no reason for it.
And it's all about dancing. Every music video is just like, what kind of dance moves can you do? Where's Chevy Chase?
Already.
Where's Steve Martin?
Exactly. You know, let's put the Three Amigos in a video.
So, if you haven't caught on yet, every soundtrack I've talked about so far has been from the 1980s, because that's kind of our bread and butter.
Yep.
Here's one from 1989, Ghostbusters 2.
Ooh.
You remember Bobby Brown? I think this might have been Bobby Brown's best song or second best song on our own.
Yes, I have. Listen, funny story, and Joe, you probably remember this. We actually went to Record Town at the mall and bought a cassette single for $1.99 with that song on it.
I bought the whole soundtrack.
I couldn't afford some of the whole soundtrack. You know, got the job working at back in the day, working at the old lumber yard, and making my paycheck. Thought I was a baller, making $3.25 an hour. Nope.
Yeah.
Listen, Bobby Brown, he had some good hits back then until all the, let's just be honest, until he got into the drugs.
Yeah. I mean, he went downhill fast, but during that 4 or 5 year period, he was awesome.
My prerogative, man.
Oh, hey, how about the Breakfast Club?
Oh, snap, the Brat Pack.
Yeah. 1985.
Listen, the Breakfast Club is probably one of those iconic movies. If I remember right, it didn't do real well at the box office, but it became like a cult classic later on. It's like a lot of those movies, I guess.
Well, and it's John Hughes. He's kind of like the guy for 80s movies. And I think one of the things, he not only did the teen movies so well, he nailed all his soundtracks.
Yeah.
Don't You Forget About Me, Simple Minds. It's like another classic that you couldn't get away from if you wanted to.
And they placed that song perfectly in the end when what's his name? Judge
Judd Nelson.
Yeah, Judd Nelson is walking through the field and he boom puts the fist up to the crowd, to the nobody, but we know there's people there. But
yeah,
dude, awesome movie. It's a coming of age kind of movie.
Sure.
They're all different walks of life. The character, there's a great story being told in the movie. Stuff that lacks in today's movies and music.
And Wang Chung was on the soundtrack. Remember Wang Chung?
Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Sorry, Corona cough break.
Top Gun, 1986.
Oh, man. Kenny Loggins. Kenny Loggins is back. Danger Zone. I could just remember driving down, got the car, got the speakers blaring. That was, what year was that? 86?
86.
That would have been my 1979 AMC Spirit hatchback with the house speakers in the back tailgate. The back seat actually caught fire at one point, And we took the back seat right out of the car.
Good times.
Wow.
Can you think of a better song than Danger Zone for riding in that car?
Oh, yeah. Danger Zone, or it was like a cat on a hot tin roof every day in that car. Great soundtrack. There was a music montage in that. If you remember when they were doing some of the flyover stuff, they had a music montage, and you get to a certain point in that song. It was almost like the Rocky soundtracks. I'm sure we'll touch on that in a minute, but got you all amped up to play that song while you're driving in the car. Ah, man, love the 80s. Love the 80s.
How about another John Hughes, Pretty in Pink?
Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Need we say more? Great movie.
You remember the big song from Pretty in Pink?
Hold on. What's the artist? Who's the artist?
OMD.
OMD. Oh, you might got me stumped on this one. Hang on.
If You Leave?
Oh, If You Leave. Oh, yes. If You Leave. I remember that one. I remember. And folks, listen, I'm not a singer.
Didn't notice.
Listen, awesome song.
Yeah.
Awesome soundtrack. Awesome movie.
So John Cryer, was in that. And the movie had kind of a punk kind of feel to it, so there was like some different artists like Echo and the Bunnymen and New Order, kind of a punk new wave kind of sound.
Let's have some coffee.
Is that a Talkin Baloney?
What? It's a Talkin Baloney.
Oh, snap.
Ooh, stainless steel, impervious to fingerprints.
And 20% off if you use the code Butchman.
Today. Code Butchman.
Unbelievable.
Can't make this stuff up, folks.
I got two more movies from the 80s to talk about.
Let's do it.
You already hinted at the first one. Rocky IV.
Probably one of the best movie soundtracks ever. Because listen, if you're not working out at the gym and you don't have the Rocky IV soundtrack, you're not really at the gym to work out. Let's be honest. Okay?
Yeah.
You're just there for show and tell. You know, if you want to go to show and tell, go to school with your kid. But if you're there to work out at the gym, Rocky IV soundtrack all the way. It's got the highs and the lows, and it'll bring you back with the training montage songs.
And James Brown, Living in America.
Wow, how can you go wrong?
It was a huge song.
Godfather of Soul.
Yeah. So that was 1985. Another 1985 song, soundtrack. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon. I've seen this movie briefly.
Okay. Well, it's a classic, and you really got to watch it again. Show enough.
Okay. Show enough.
Leroy. So this had DeBarge. Rhythm of the Night.
DeBarge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
It's like a #1 song on that soundtrack. And another one. So they actually performed it in the movie. It was one of those scenes where all of a sudden there's DeBarge at the nightclub and he sings the song. And so that pretty much covers the 80s. And when we come back, we'll talk some soundtracks from other time periods up next.
I'm looking forward to it.
Jim Deezy.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, folks, look at. Gonna sanitize. Look at. Well, we're gonna stay safe because we want to be safe in this world. Sanitize them hands, folks. Sanitize them hands. And you know what else I gotta say? Public service announcement. Wear those Talkin Baloney masks. You can buy them right now on talkinbaloney.com.
And you can save 20%.
20%.
Not a bad deal.
Code Butchman.
And Jim, it looks like in the back of your your vehicle in the back window.
Oh, there's a Talkin Baloney sticker, talkinbaloney.com. If you'd like a Talkin Baloney sticker, order it today. We'll ship it out tomorrow.
That's pretty snazzy.
I'm telling you, you want to decorate up a vehicle. You got a brand new 2020 Cadillac. You want to really put the extra features on it? TalkinBaloney.com sticker.
It's incomplete without it.
Yeah, it's just a Cadillac.
Yeah, who you fooling?
Yeah, it's just a Lamborghini. If it ain't got a Talkin Baloney sticker on it, it might as well be a Hyundai Accent.
You said it. Speaking of the best-selling soundtrack of all time.
Ooh.
Do you know?
Oh, I'm going to be stumped on this one. Best-selling of all time.
All time.
Huh. You give me one song off the soundtrack and I'm going to know it.
Oh, that is definite.
I would have thought it would have been Dirty Dancing.
No. I'll tell you, this one sold 42 million copies. Came out in 1992.
Top Gun.
Nope.
Really?
Whitney Houston?
Oh, Bodyguard.
Yes.
Yes. I have nothing. Yes. Listen.
Yeah.
Whether you're a grown man or a whatever, you weren't bumping this soundtrack in the car and singing along with Whitney Houston back in the day. You are lying to yourself.
And if you didn't have the soundtrack, you definitely knew someone who did, because it was everywhere.
Let's just be honest. How many millions of people are there in the United States?
Let's say 350 million.
So 42 million people bought the CD, because this is 1992, folks.
Yep.
42 million people bought the CD, and if you weren't copying it, you weren't borrowing or letting a friend borrow it, and they weren't copying it. We all had those double-track cassette players, and listen, everybody had a copy of the Bodyguard soundtrack. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. If you weren't bumping Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing at the gym, you're lying.
And of course, her big hit was the remake of Dolly Parton's song.
And I gotta be honest with you. I think Whitney's version is better.
I do too. I don't know if that's saying much, because Dolly Parton, you know.
Yeah. I mean, she's old school. I get it, you know. But Whitney just had a soulful voice when she sang songs. You know.
Yep.
Gone before her time. Thanks, Bobby.
Wow. We were just putting Bobby over earlier, and now you just buried him.
We're taking him down again. Still love your My Prerogative, though, Bobby. Hey, if you could do a song on the next Ghostbusters soundtrack, that would be awesome.
That would be a comeback.
Yeah, we'll be sure to plug it.
So
come on the show, tell us your side of the story. TalkinBaloney.com.
There's an idea. Call the hotline, 585-484-1770.
Yep. Mark
Bobby
Wahlberg,
Brown, just call the hotline. No big deal.
Marky Mark's afraid of us.
Yeah, he should be. We've seen his movies. Hey now.
Hey now.
How about Batman Forever, 1995?
All right, let's just start by saying, who was Batman this year?
This was Val Kilmer Batman.
Yep.
This was this is Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, but the soundtrack is U2 and Seal, Kiss from a Rose.
All right, Seal's Kiss from a Rose was a great song. Overplayed, but a great song.
The Batman movies kind of had a history of big soundtracks. Of course, Prince did the first one. Bat Dance.
You can't go wrong with Prince doing anything. Really, you can't.
Right. Now,
man can play many hats.
I was gonna there's a bit of a debate over including Purple Rain. Because it is a movie soundtrack, but at the same time, it's basically just a Prince album.
Yeah.
If you count that as a soundtrack, then yeah, it's one of the greatest soundtracks of all time, but it's kind of just...
I have to agree with you. I can't. It's a Prince album. I mean, hey, folks, if you wanna dispute us on this one, hit us up on the text line. But is Prince's Purple Rain an album or a movie soundtrack?
Good call. 585-484-1770. How about Eminem, 8 Mile, 2002?
I've listened to this soundtrack many times, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's like 2 good songs on it.
Okay. The 2 Eminem songs?
The 2 Eminem songs.
Yeah. I'd agree with that, but I think when the 2 songs are Lose Yourself and the title track, 8 Mile, those are 2 pretty good songs.
Yeah. But listen, if you're not wearing your mom's spaghetti...
And it ties into the movie so well.
Oh,
you don't get a lot of soundtracks where the song actually reflects like the story going on in the movie. So,
yeah, and here again, the video has the actors and the actual movie scenes and stuff going on in it.
He shouts out Mekhi Phifer. How about from the year 2000, Almost Famous?
Almost Famous.
Now this is again, this is again a soundtrack kind of collecting great hits from an earlier time period. I think most famous for Tiny Dancer.
Elton
They let
John.
it... Exactly. There was a scene on the bus where the band, they're all kind of broken up. They're fighting.
Yeah.
And then that song comes on the radio and they all start singing along and it kind of brings them all back together.
Puts them all back together again. Listen, you can't go wrong with a good Elton John song. Hey, if you remember right, in Rocky 1 or Rocky 2, Elton John had a featured song called Measure of a Man. It was played in the credits. It never got any airtime during the movies, but it played in the credits, and it's on the soundtrack. Great song by Elton John. It's a hidden gem, folks.
You just brought up something that I actually forgot I was going to say earlier. You mentioned Peter Cetera, the song that's actually Karate Kid 2 and not Karate Kid 1.
Yeah.
That was actually written for Rocky 4. And it got cut. Yeah, it didn't make the cut. And so they used it for Karate Kid 2.
If you would have put The Glory of Love by Peter Cetera in Rocky 4, #1 selling soundtrack of all time. Right there.
Oh, yeah. That would have pushed it over the top.
He's here all week, folks.
Oh, once a week, just on Sundays. So, another soundtrack, this one I actually have, and I like it. Not Another Teen Movie, 2001.
So, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I am not into these just another teen movie or not a teen movie. I could never get into it. I love slapstick comedy. I love funny movies. I love movies that make fun of other movies like Airplane and Hot Shots. But they just didn't do these ones right. Like Naked Gun, phenomenal movie.
Right.
But these Not Another Teen movies, and I know this is about soundtracks, but if I didn't watch the movie, I probably didn't hear the soundtrack either.
Well, so this is a case where the movie is garbage or trash, as you might call it. And I'm not recommending anyone watch the movie. Skip it. Don't even think about watching it. The soundtrack, what they did for the soundtrack is they had a bunch of modern bands do covers of 80s songs.
Oh, see, now I should have watched it.
No, skip the movie. Just get the soundtrack. That's what I did.
All right, I'll do it.
So you've got Marilyn Manson doing Tainted Love.
Wow.
You have the Smashing Pumpkins doing Never Let Me Down Again from Depeche Mode.
Oh, boy.
You have Orgy doing Blue Monday from New Order.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You have System of a Down doing The Metro by Berlin.
System of a Down and Marilyn Manson already on the same soundtrack. I'm going to have to check this out now.
This is a great soundtrack. You have Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots doing But Not Tonight, a Depeche Mode song.
Wow.
You have Goldfinger doing 99 Red Balloons.
Is it 99 red balloons or 99 Luft balloons?
Correct. It would be in German. You have Good Charlotte doing If You Leave by OMD, which we talked about.
Love Good Charlotte.
You have the Foo Fighters doing My Hero.
You can't go wrong with the Foo Fighters, folks.
Phantom Planet doing Somebody's Baby, Jackson Browne song.
Here we go.
And
so I'm gonna have to check this soundtrack out now today.
Yeah, it's one of those like I would almost call it a hidden gem because again, terrible movie. Don't watch the movie. Yeah. Download the soundtrack though. It's pretty good.
I'm gonna make it a point to check it out today, review it, and I'll bring it back to you live next week.
Hey now.
There we go.
So the next two are also from my personal collection. Daredevil, 2003.
Ben Affleck, the blind. Is he really a superhero?
Yeah, because his other senses are so great. He basically can see with. But we're not talking about the movie. Evanescence.
Evanescence.
Bring me to life.
Woo-wee! There's a song you can bump in the car on the way someplace. That's
a song that gets your heart a-pumping.
That's a good song to play on the way to DMV.
So that song won a Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance.
Oh, yeah. Great song.
How do you feel about grunge music?
Hey, I was never a skateboarder type.
2002, 1992. The movie is Singles by Cameron Crowe.
This is where all those people live together. I've seen this, and the soundtrack is way better than the movie's not bad, but the soundtrack's way better than the movie. Yeah, way better than the movie.
So the soundtrack has Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. It takes place in Seattle, so it's got all these Seattle bands, and it happened to be just as grunge took off. So it's like
Nirvana.
Yeah. The guys from Pearl Jam actually act in the movie as well. They play like some of the roommates in the house. It's a nice little movie, but it's a really good soundtrack.
See? You know what? There are a lot. There's a lot of hidden gems in some of these soundtracks. You really got to go back and listen to some of these right now.
Yeah. I think to end, we'll talk about, I think one of the best of all time, The Graduate, 1967.
Ooh. You got Madonna. You got Madonna on the soundtrack, if I remember correctly. No?
1967. We're talking Simon and Garfunkel, The Graduate.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. All right. I was thinking, remember that movie that came out in the 90s where it was the guy from The Mummy. I can never remember the actor's name we talked about.
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser. He's in a movie with Joe Pesci. He plays the homeless guy. He's trying to graduate from college or something.
Ooh, don't know that one.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got Madonna on the soundtrack. But let's go back to the Simon. Listen, Simon and Garfunkel, gold.
Incredible. This was a...
Monster.
Yeah. This is a movie, Mrs. Robinson. The song just took off, became a huge hit, put Simon and Garfunkel on the map, and kind of established what you can do with movie soundtracks when you get like one band to come in and do like all the songs.
Cuckoo-ca-choo.
That's right.
Listen, I can listen to Simon and Garfunkel all day. And I know the big guy's got Simon and Garfunkel collections. I know.
Hell yeah.
Hells to the yeah.
And the Mad Dog likes Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, the Mad Dog likes Simon and Garfunkel too. So, folks, let this be a lesson to you. So, for you kids all growing up today in today's world, Simon and Garfunkel is a gem. If you want to hear how music should be, how a band should be, what a musical instrument looks like or sounds like, go back and listen to some Simon and Garfunkel.
Couldn't have said it better myself. What an instrument looks like.
What an instrument looks like or sounds like. Because we all know, based off what we're listening to today, there's not a lot of musical instruments being played in some of this.
Nope. A lot of computers.
Yeah, a lot of computers.
Speaking of Baloney Nation, we're going to answer some questions from Baloney Nation when we come back.
Woo-wee. Woo! Welcome back, folks. Talkin Baloney live on location.
Jim, where you calling in today from?
I'm in a parking lot. Let me flip this camera around and show you guys. Bam! Can't really see anything. Yeah, it's the back of the camera mount for the phone, but I am in a parking lot, live on location, because I got a big day going today. We're moving our daughter to college.
Wow.
Yeah, big step in the old ladder of life.
Yeah. You're going to be an empty nester pretty soon.
Empty nester coming up pretty soon. We still got the boy in the house for however long he decides to stay. So it'll just be me and him and Mom eating steaks, you know.
Wow.
Steaks on the grill.
Sounds pretty good.
all this revenue coming in from the Talkin Baloney show. We're eating pretty good right now.
Don't forget.
As long as it's off the dollar menu. Bam,
20,
folks.
20% off.
20% off. Get the hat. Get the mask. Wait a minute. Oh, get the travel mug. Or even better, get the shirt.
Hey.
20% off Butchman code.
And you can contact us for Baloney Nation at 585-484-1770, and you might get, courtesy of Jimbo Joe's,
What?
a coupon.
A coupon?
Yeah.
This is a cup of coffee.
One free cup of coffee. Any size.
Wrong, folks. Any
Super
size.
large. This expires.
It right now.
No. And it doesn't expire until 2029.
There you go. See? 2029,
So
folks.
There's a decent chance you might be able to use it. And we're going to start right off with a voicemail that ties into today's topic.
Oh, all right.
Greetings, Baloney Nation. What are your favorite title songs from Bond movies, from James Bond movies? Cheers.
View to a Kill, Duran Duran.
I was going to go there too.
Yep. It's the only song, it's really the only song that I remember from a James Bond movie.
I also like The Living Daylights. I don't recall. I almost feel like it was Duran Duran again, but...
I thought Duran Duran was like they had to have a Duran Duran song on every James Bond movie.
No, that was just wishful thinking.
I think you're right about that. You can't go wrong with Duran Duran.
No. They kind of ruled the 80s. Has Jim ever done the boot scootin' boogie, and how many times?
First off, the boot scootin' boogie, isn't that a country song? Or is that some kind of country line dancing?
Yeah, I think you're right. That's exactly what it is.
I'm almost going to guarantee no. And will I be able to do it? No.
Now,
do I want to do it? No, but I'm sure the show is going to want me to do this. It's probably part of my contract.
What do you think Melly Mel's will say about doing the boot scootin' boogie?
Oh, I'm sure she's going to have some kind of tirade over me trying to say I'm not going to do it.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too. So I guess the bottom line is you probably should start practicing.
I will practice the boot scootin' boogie, whether it's a 3-second clip or a 5-second clip. I will try to do it next week on the show.
Yes! That's what we're talking about.
And the things you got to do for entertainment.
So our next one kind of also brings up a sore subject.
Uh-oh.
Coffee smoothies. Have you thought about that?
So listen, I think anytime you get out of the realm of coffee, creamer, and possibly sugar, if that's your thing, anything else you put in that negates the fact that it's coffee.
You like iced coffee, though. I've seen you drink some.
I've had iced coffee. I do like the caramel iced coffees, but I do know it's still an iced coffee.
What if you were able to take that kind of concept of the iced coffee and turn that into a smoothie? That wouldn't be so bad, would it?
Yeah, I'd have to give it a shot. I'd be fair to the market and to the folks asking, would I blend it up real nice? You know what? I'd be willing to give it a shot.
It might be good. This person who wrote in, they might be onto something.
If this person would like to invest in us to buy the equipment to make these coffee smoothies, I'm down with it.
That's a good answer.
You heard it, folks. I'm willing to try a coffee smoothie. If you know of anybody that sells them already, let us know. We'll go there and we'll check it out and we'll sample it right there on camera.
I don't know. I feel like this is an innovation that you might have to corner the market on.
So, folks, listen. Talkin Baloney said it first. Iced or coffee smoothies. We said it first. If you steal our idea, we're suing you for half the worth of your company.
Now, Jim, you recently got into high-speed internet.
Yeah. I tell you, we were rocking satellite internet for the longest time. And if you want something painful, try to use satellite internet. Like if I could describe satellite internet, it's like having to go to the bathroom really, really bad and being constipated. It's the best comparison I have for satellite internet. It's like constipation. You gotta go, but it doesn't want to.
Wow. You definitely paint a picture.
Yep. Not so pretty either.
No. So the person who wrote in wants to know, if you had to choose, would you do Disney Plus or HBO Max?
So, I do have Disney Plus on my phone.
Okay.
I really don't use the app at all.
All right.
I did watch part of The Mandalorian, the 3rd episode. But everybody does know how I feel about Star Wars. I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah.
HBO Max, though, back in the day, HBO used to have a new movie every Saturday night. I don't know if they still do that or not, because
they still
HBO
do.
Isn't on Dish Network anymore because they tell you now to download the app. Yeah. So you can't get HBO on satellite on Dish Network.
Do you have the app then? Do you have HBO Max?
So I do have the app. I never renewed the trial.
Okay.
So I will tell you this, on a side note, Dish Network, trash. Took away HBO. Took away the NFL Network.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I had it.
And where you live, you don't have much choice, right?
There's no cable out where we live. You can't put an antenna on your house because we're in a hill. So you got to have clear sight of towers and stuff, or wherever the radio signals come from. So, we're hamstrung.
You got high-speed internet, so you could do YouTube TV or... Yeah.
We're doing Netflix now. I do have Netflix, and I do have Amazon Prime. And I'll be honest, folks, Amazon Prime and Netflix pretty much have the same crap on them anyway.
Well, they have
other than some Netflix shows.
Right. They both have their originals, which are both pretty good. There's some good shows on both of those.
I gotta hand it to Netflix. They got some crazy movies on Netflix. I love some of the stuff that they've done.
Yeah. Netflix is rocking.
But
HBO Max is pretty good too.
Yeah.
When you get HBO Max, you get all of HBO, and they also have other shows. It's kind of cool that you can get like all the Turner Classic Movies. So there's like hundreds and hundreds of movies to watch.
Mm-hmm. Folks, if you want 100 stations, Dish Network's for you. But it's 100 stations of QVC and infomercials and religious shows. You get about 15 stations of actual substance, just so you know.
Good to know.
But if you'd like to be a sponsor of Talkin Baloney, reach out to us at talkinbaloney.com.
So we've been talking about soundtracks for a while and promoting that we were going to do this episode. So we actually got some people writing in about soundtracks.
Oh, really? All right.
This first one is, I don't respect soundtracks that just throw a bunch of old songs together. For example, Guardians of the Galaxy. As much as I do soundtracks that have original material, for example, Footloose. That being said, I love the soundtrack for Guardians, but I hate Footloose.
So we pretty much have to stop this person right here. The fact that you like Guardians of the Galaxy and you don't like Footloose, you need to seek therapy. Because Footloose is original music. Guardians of the Galaxy, no.
So Guardians is a good soundtrack. It's a soundtrack I have. It's like a greatest hits of 70s music. It's good. But Footloose, like you said, is music written for the movie.
Exactly. Thank you. That sums it up the best.
Yeah. Our next one, I hope you guys talk about Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. It's my fave and was the biggest soundtrack until The Bodyguard.
Saturday Night Fever. That Travolta?
That is, and that's the Bee Gees. That is all the Bee Gees' biggest hits.
Stay alive! Stay alive!
That's right.
Yeah,
so,
you can't go wrong with little Bee Gees.
Right. It's a good soundtrack. We didn't mention it because it's not really the kind of music we listen to.
No.
But you got to give them props. It was the biggest selling soundtrack of all time until The Bodyguard. And I don't think you can talk about disco music without talking about Staying Alive.
Or John Travolta.
Yeah. Famous.
You would think the Grease soundtrack would be in there somewhere too, but
that's kind of a similar thing. That's I think partly it's a musical, and I think you have to separate musicals from soundtracks.
And this is where we get into that Prince conversation, folks, right here.
Yeah.
Grease a soundtrack, or is it an album?
So if you start counting musicals, then you've got like what? Mary Poppins and Oklahoma and Rent and Stomp. It's like take it easy. Let's stick to soundtracks.
Let's stick to soundtracks.
So, how about Flashdance and DC Cab for movie soundtracks?
I'm going to go Flashdance. Only because the scene where she's in the chair.
Yeah. If you're including music videos, it's definitely worth it.
Yep.
Have you seen DC Cab?
No.
It was one of Mr. T's earliest movies.
Okay.
I saw it a lot when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in a long time. I can't speak to the soundtrack. I was hoping you knew about it, but
nope.
All right. So now it's time for Fun Fact Fontaine writes, Ray Parker Jr. had a mega hit with the title song to Ghostbusters. However, he was successfully sued for ripping off Huey Lewis and the News chart topper, I Want a New Drug. Interestingly, Ray Parker Jr. wasn't the Ghostbuster producers' first choice to write the title song. Their first choice was Huey Lewis and the News. So Huey Lewis obviously turned them down and later sued them. However, his experience with the producers of Ghostbusters prompted him and his band to write songs for another movie soundtrack. That movie, Back to the Future. Fun fact, fun fact.
Ah, nice. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
No. Fun fact, Fontaine. He's always bringing us some jewels.
Yeah. And a little disclaimer there. We didn't talk about Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
They had some good songs.
They did have some good songs. They did. We could probably do a whole episode on Back to the Future, though.
Yeah, we probably should. That is
J.
a
Fox.
great trilogy.
We could do a whole episode on Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. He was kind of like king of the 80s.
Yeah, we grew up with him.
Teen Wolf? Come on.
Secret of My Success.
Yes.
One of my favorites. Great soundtrack, by the way.
Did that also have the song that was in Ferris Bueller?
They did. What? Or whatever.
Roar! Roar!
Oh.
All right.
That was great.
So,
Fun fact, Fontaine, always bringing it to us, man. Every episode brings us something special.
and if you want to contribute to the show, call us at 585-484-1770. And who knows, you could be the next Fun Fact Fontaine if you just,
Good.
set out with a goal in mind to be a part of the show, contribute every week, and you never know, you could get your own intro.
You could. Own intro.
That pretty much wraps it up.
Get yourself a Talkin Baloney travel mug, folks.
That's right.
Butchman. Code Butchman. Get yourself a hat. 20% off today.
20% off. Not just today. Let's say it goes for, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
You got a chance. Get in on some merch. You can
do it.
wear that shirt.
Let's do it. Bam.
Boom.
Baloney, folks. Boom.
So,
All right.
if you thought the sit-down stand-up challenge was over, I do have an announcement. We've got our first edition of the Celebrity Sit-Down Stand-Up Challenge coming. The challenge has gone out to Scotty Bender, host of WrestleVision.
Oh,
Yes.
snap.
Hopefully next week, maybe 2 weeks, but it's coming.
Okay.
He is
All right,
preparing
all right.
as we speak to do the sit-down stand-up challenge.
Scotty Bender in the house.
That's right.
He's big time, folks.
Hey, he's been involved in pro wrestling on the independent scene since 1999.
There it is.
Long time.
Whew, it's going to be a show, folks. It's going to be a show.
Any parting thoughts before you hit the road?
Wear the mask, folks. Wash your hands. That's all I can say. Let's get back to playing some football.
That's right.
Just follow the darn rule. Put a mask on. Wash your hands. Oh, guess what? We'll be able to play football again. It's that simple.
That sums it up.
All right.
All right. Have a good trip. We'll see you next week.
Stay classy, Rochester.
Yeah.
Roar.